Hello and good morning, everyone. I am Trisha with Satyavani of 7th May 2021. Let's go to Bobby for COVID 19 updates in the country.
Thank you, Trisha. Updates on COVID-19. Continuing the surge, India on Thursday reported 412,262 new cases and 3,980 deaths in the last 24 hours. The new infections have pushed India's caseload to over 2.06 crore, while active cases stand at 35.66 lakhs. Among the five most affected states, Maharashtra reported 62,194 fresh cases with 853 people succumbing to the disease, the highest death toll for a state. Karnataka have 50,112 fresh cases and 346 deaths. Kerala reported 42,464 fresh cases and 63 deaths. Uttar Pradesh reported 26,780 new cases and 353 more deaths, and Rajasthan reported 17,652 new cases with 161 deaths. With cases on a steady high, multiple states called for or extended lockdowns and curbs, with Kerala announcing a 9-day lockdown May 8th to May 16th and Madhya Pradesh extending the curfew until May 15th. The Rajasthan government announced a strict lockdown between May 10 and 24, and Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said a decision on enforcing a lockdown in the state will be taken in another 2 or 3 days. More updates. The Supreme Court directed the Center to prepare for the third wave of COVID-19 pandemic by creating a buffer stock of medical oxygen to subside panic among the people. Several Rajdhanis, Shatabdis, and Vande Bharat Express trains from Delhi have been cancelled till further notice due to increase in COVID cases and poor occupancy, the railway authorities said. Sri Lanka announced that all arrivals from India will be banned with immediate effect due to the record rise in COVID-19 cases. Several countries like the UK, the UAE, Australia, and Singapore have already banned travelers from India. Components to produce 20 million doses of Covishield vaccine arrived from the US. Criticisms. Among the surge in coronavirus cases, the Uttar Pradesh government is providing oximeters and thermal scanners for cows housed in the state's gaushalas. A recent press release from the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's office also said the state government has issued instructions to set up help desk in every district for the welfare of cows, taking forward its cow protection agenda. Appreciations. Actor Sonu Sood and his team helped Bengaluru Hospital save the lives of 20 to 22 COVID patients by arranging oxygen cylinders. In Delhi, an oxygen langar is set up at the Indirapuram Gurudwara by Khalsa Help International and Gurudwara Sri Guru Singh Sabha. Beds with oxygen cylinders, concentrators, and masks have been laid out in a large tent equipped with fans and coolers. That's all for the COVID updates. Now let's move on to Mansi for the national updates.
Thank you, Bobby. The national news updates are as follows. National Pakistan Court asks India to cooperate in Kulbhushan Jadhav case. A top Pakistani court hearing the case of death row convicted Kulbhushan Jadhav has asked India to cooperate in the legal proceeding over the matter, saying appearing before the court did not mean a waiver of sovereignty. A three-member bench of the Islamabad High Court, comprising Chief Justice Athar Minhalla, Justice Amar Farooq, and Justice Mingul Hassan Aurangzeb, on May 5 resumed hearing of the petition by Pakistani's Minister of Law and Justice seeking appointment of lawyer for Mr. Jadhav. Attorney General Khalid Javed Khan told the bench that to comply with the ruling of the International Court of Justice, Pakistan last year promulgated the law Revive and Reconsideration Ordinance 2020 to enable Mr. Jadhav to avail himself of the statutory remedy. Now moving on to Srijan for more national updates. Srijan, kindly unmute yourself.
The Home Ministry has sent a 4-member team to assess the ground situation in Bengal. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee today took a swipe at the centre over sending a team in to look into the violence in the state after the results of assembly elections were announced last week. The Trinamool Congress won the election for a third term, and the BJP have accused each other as behind clashes reported from across the state. Ms. Banerjee, in an allusion to frequent confrontations it often had with the centre in the last few years, has asked the BJP-led centre to refrain from sending central teams over matters that may not exist. Reports from across the state and posts on social media have alleged Trinamool workers of attacking BJP workers and supporters. Trinamool has pointed out that many of them are fake reports. The Home Ministry has asked the Bengal government to take necessary measures to stop such incidents without any loss of time. Ms. Banerjee has announced 2 lakh compensation for the families, 2 lakh rupees in compensation for the families of anyone who has died as a result of political violence. The BJP cannot accept the people's verdict, so they are indulging in this, said Mrs. Banerjee today. BJP chief JP Nadda, who is also in the state on a 2-day visit to look in the violence, has claimed that 14 BJP workers have been killed and nearly 1 lakh people have fled their homes. Moving on to Tanya.
Thank you, Srijan. Indian Railway cancelled 16 special trains from May 7. Here's complete list. Indian Railways has cancelled over 16 special train service from May 7 due to the low occupancy aimed the rising COVID-19 case in the country. The Indian Railway has cancelled service of 16 special trains operating on the routes under the Eastern Railway and East Central Railway. The complete list of trains cancelled by the Indian Railway is provided below for the reference of the passenger. Trains cancelled from May 7. Check complete list of trains cancelled by the Indian Railway. 02019 Havda Ranchi Special Train. 02020 Ranchi to Havda Special Trains. 02339 Havda to Dhanbad Special Trains. 02340 Dhanbad to Havda Special Trains. 03027 Havda to Azimganj Special Trains. 03028 Azimganj to Havda Special Trains. 03047 Havda to Rampurat Special Trains. 03048 Rampurat Havda Special Trains. 03117 Kolkata to Lalgola. 03118 Lalgola to Kolkata. 03187 Silyadar to Rampurat. 03401 Bhagalpur to Danpur. 03402 Danpur to Bhagalpur. The Indian Railway had cancelled over 40 trains last month due to low passenger. Now moving on to Subi.
Thank you, Tanya. Centre turned down Punjab's proposal to urgently buy oxygen from Pakistan, Punjab CM. The Indian government has refused the request for private firms in Punjab to commercially import liquid medical oxygen from Pakistan to bridge the gap in supply and enable the creation of more health infrastructure to treat the rising number of COVID-19 patients, Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh said on Tuesday. This disclosure was made by the Punjab government in a press release about Singh's letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah seeking immediate allocation of 50 metric tons of oxygen and 20 additional tankers. The Chief Minister stated that his missive had an urgency as the state currently had over 10,000 patients on oxygen support. He noted that the state could not increase the number of level 2 and level 3 beds as Punjab was not receiving its total allocation of the life-saving gas. So far, there has been no response from the Ministry of External Affairs on whether Punjab's request for sourcing oxygen from Pakistan had been denied. The Indian government's rejection of an oxygen corridor from Pakistan seems similar to its refusal of Islamabad's offer of aid. Pakistan had offered ventilators, digital X-ray machines, PPEs, and related items as aid relief to help with India's fight against COVID-19, but India has not responded to this offer yet. Thank you.
Breaking
Now
news.
moving on to Sneha for
Breaking
Thank
news. Earthquake of magnitude 2.8 strikes Morigao in Assam. An earthquake of magnitude 2.8 on the Richter scale hit Morigao in Assam at 6:13 a.m. today. The earthquake was confirmed by the National Center for Seismology. More updates on this will be followed. Now let's move on with the daily bulletin. Over to Sneha for the city news.
Thank you, Bobby. Now we proceed with city news. UP Panchayat polls give BJP yet another jolt, but party proclaims victory anyway. Even as the Bharatiya Janata Party yet to came to terms with the blow it received in West Bengal, what seems to have come as yet another bolt from the blue
was the poor showing at the recently concluded Panchayat elections in Uttar Pradesh, that the BJP was just not prepared for this is visual from the BJP camp silence. Some of their leaders appear to have gone into hibernation. Even UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has not reacted to these results, which have left the ruling party in second place. On the contrary, the party's publicity machinery is out to impress upon all and sundry that the BJP has done very well at these grassroots level elections. It may be pointed out that Adityanath was very confident of swiping the polls and thereby establishing his personal supremacy in the party, that he moved heaven and earth to ensure that there was no stumbling block in its way. Last month, when the Allahabad High Court ordered a lockdown, which would have stalled the Panchayat poll process, the UP government made instant appeal before the apex court, which promptly saved the High Court order. Interestingly, the state government took the stand that the lockdown would adversely affect the lives and livelihood of poor people. In fact, the High Court had ordered the lockdown in only 5 badly affected COVID districts as against the state government's own statewide lockdown. Now moving on to Shubhankar.
Thank you, Sneha. 100 priests COVID positive, 2 die after church event in Kerala's Mumbai. The Kerala police is investigating a church event which was attended by over 350 priests and deacons conducted in Kerala last month that flouted COVID-19 norms. The event was held at Munnar CSI Retreat Center. The retreat was held between April 13 to 17, a period when Kerala was seeing an average cases with a test positivity rate of 20%. It was also held at a time when COVID-19 restrictions were in place. Flouting of pandemic norms have resulted in death of 2 priests last week from COVID-19, with around 100 more participants testing positive. Among the infected are Church of South India, South Kerala Bishop Father Dharamraj Asalam, 2 priests after attending the retreat. Father Bijum 152 and Rev Shine B. Raj 43 died last week after testing positive. CM Pinari Vijayan has termed the incident unfortunate and said he has directed district authorities to conduct an investigation. He also added that when the situation is grave, such an event should not have taken place. Now moving on to Rebecca for the opening bell.
Today's opening bell. Indian indices opened higher with Nifty above 14,800 on May 7th amid positive global cues. At 9:16 IST, the Sensex was up 338, 14 points or 0.69% at 49,287.90, and the Nifty was up 106.60 points or 0.72% at 14,831.40. About 1,155 shares have advanced, 272 shares declined, and 63 shares are unchanged. Now moving on to Trisha for editorial.
Thank you, Rebecca. Moving on to the editorial. Remembering those who passed away. Nearly 235,000 Indians died from COVID-19 over the last year. On Thursday, 4,000 Indians passed away, with devastation on home, village, and city in the country, continuing as a second wave of the pandemic. However, it is becoming more and more apparent that official data do not capture the scale of the tragedy. The death count is higher than those figures reported from hospitals, morgues, funeral grounds, crematoria, and local populations. In fact, this is different from the first wave. Indeed, some people then criticized India unfairly for insufficient numbers of deaths, but this was untrue because it is hard to conceal the deaths of certain people in India. As many others pointed out, the truth is brought out by dense social and information networks, and that is precisely why deaths on the ground and official figures do not seem to align in the second wave. This may be due to a number of factors, including a deliberate efforts by official authorities to downplay the number of deaths, as every death reflects poorly on the Indian state, or a restrictive criteria for categorizing COVID-19 deaths, which are often attributed to comorbidities or the fact that many of those who die at home due to COVID but may or may not have received an official diagnosis. Regardless of the cause, it is important to be open about India's fatalities.
This information is critical for understanding the dynamics of the wave and saving other people's lives. It is also vital to remember those who have died and to honor their deaths and be truthful about why they died. Thank you so much. Moving on to Arish for the open.
Thank you so much, Trisha, for a very insightful piece. The pandemic has really proved to be an unmitigated disaster for India. Now, continuing with the opinion, on display in Delhi now, a central vista of criminal negligence. A World Health Organization report in early January 2020 confirmed that a cluster of people in Wuhan, China, had the respiratory illness called COVID 19. By month end, the first case had also appeared in India. By early February, however, more cases began to appear in Kerala, Maharashtra, and elsewhere. With rising COVID 19 numbers, the official count reached 11,000 in early March. Delhi recorded a doubling of confirmed infections. Nizamuddin was declared a COVID 19 containment zone just when a public petition against the Union of India was filed in the Delhi High Court cataloguing violations of land use norms pertaining to the Central Vista project. Fast forwarding to early this year, the WHO warned of a second wave. But with numbers beginning to fall, the government announced that India had successfully managed to defeat the virus. And before long, the country plunged into what it does best: elections, religious festivals, political rallies, and weddings. Events that invite big crowds in contained places. Millions of pilgrims were exhorted to attend the Kumbh Mela in Haridwar. Rallies were mounted in the multi-phase Bengal elections. Clubs, markets, restaurants, and malls opened. Then, on April 5, a sudden spike of 100,000 new infections hit the country. Case numbers increased every day, rising 4 days later to 1 million. Hospitals went into overdrive. Still, there was no sign of the new oxygen plants. 10 days into the lockdown in Delhi, when all outdoor construction activity was banned, the Central Vista project proceeded as an essential service. The CPWD invited bids for 3 ministry buildings at rupees 3,408 crore the day India recorded the highest surge of infections in the world. On May 5, the figure reached 21 million with 230,000 deaths. Reports from crematoriums across India suggest the real number could be 5 times that. And with that, time for some updates from around the world. Simran, over to you.
Thank you, Arush. Getting on to some international news. Germany busts international child porn site used by 400,000. German prosecutors announced Monday they have busted one of the world's biggest international darknet platforms for child pornography, used by more than 400,000 registered members. Frankfurt prosecutors said in a statement, together with the Federal Criminal Police Office, that in mid-April, 3 German suspects, said to be the administrators of the Boys Town platform, were arrested along with a German user. One of the 3 main suspects was arrested in Paraguay. They also searched 7 buildings in connection with the porn ring in mid-April in Germany. The authorities said the platform was one of the world's biggest child pornography darknet platforms and had been active since 2019. Pedophiles used it to exchange and watch pornography of children and toddlers, most of them boys from all over the world. Moving on to Akansha.
Thank you, Simran. Now, China rejects G7 criticism on human rights. Beijing, China's government on Thursday rejected criticism on its human rights and economic record by foreign ministers of the group of 7 major economies and accused them of mending its affairs. The foreign ministry also rejected an appeal by G7 diplomats of Taiwan, the island democracy Beijing claims as a part of its territory, to be allowed to participate in the World Health Organization. The Biden administration wants to assemble coalition to respond to China's economic and strategic assertiveness, but some European governments are more cautious about dealing with the government of an important export market. Beijing rejects the complaints that it mistreats minorities and says camps in Xinjiang are for job training to promote economic development and combat radicalism among the Western region's predominantly Muslim population. The communist Beijing government says Taiwan, which split with the mainland in 1949 after a civil war, has no right to conduct foreign relations or participate in global bodies as a sovereign government. G7 governments should be working on improvising access to coronavirus vaccines for developing countries instead of making accusations and interfering with other countries in a condescending way, Wang said. Now, thank you. Now over to Sinela.
Thank you, Akanksha. Following with today's last headline on international news. Public health must be the highest law. A healthcare worker gives a dose of Covishield to a woman inside a school converted into a temporary vaccination center in New Delhi. Africa has 17% of the world's people but has only administered 2% of COVID-19 vaccine doses given worldwide. By early April, more than 700 million vaccine doses had been administered around the world, more than 80% of them in upper middle income countries versus only 0.2% in low income countries. Currently, 8 vaccines are being used overall. No country is using all of them, but the richer nations have access to 3 or 4, having placed advanced orders. The vaccine makers are also typically based in these countries and have patents that prevent others from manufacturing them. As a result, the US is expected to have a stockpile of 300 million excess doses by July 2021, while many countries will have to wait for years before they can vaccinate a significant fraction of their populations. At the same time, wealthy nations have recognized that if COVID-19 has to be effectively and quickly tackled, everyone everywhere must be vaccinated. If the demand to waive patents for COVID-19 treatments gathers steam, we will see an avalanche of scientific papers, articles, discussions, and roundtables strengthening the role of IP and broadening its scope. Otherwise, there will be grave consequences for Big Pharma, even if this threat has been presented as a national security issue. India and South Africa did not push for manufacturing only in their countries but around the world. Even if this wasn't the case, the originator companies still get royalties even as the vaccines available increases. This is an important consideration because viruses circulating in communities are likely to mutate, rendering existing vaccines ineffective in a year or so. Nevertheless, it might have been if India had walked its talk at the WTO and licensing other manufacturers to produce vaccines. Thank you, and next up we have Aman for Cartoon of the Day.
Well, that was a rather insightful piece, Sinle. Thank you. Now for the cartoon of the day. The cartoon of the day is provided by Satish Acharya, and I guess it's rightly said, BJP and us have a slight misunderstanding about what essentials really mean to us. Now over to Sanyog for some crime updates.
Thank you, Aman, for the cartoon of the day. Now let's hear some crime news. Police raids to trace wrestler Sushil Kumar in a murder case. Delhi police has launched raids to locate the top wrestler and a two-time Olympic medalist Sushil Kumar for questioning over his alleged role in murder of a 23-year-old former junior national champion who was beaten to death in the clash involving two groups on the Chhatrasal Stadium premises in northwest Delhi late Tuesday night. We are looking for him. Several teams have been formed to trace the accused person. Additional DCP Northwest Dr. Gurpal Singh Sidhu said. In the initial probe, it has come out that Sushil Pahalwan Kumar and his aides committed this crime. Reads the FIR that in the case registered on the basis of PCR filed by Assistant Sub-Inspector Jitendra Singh. The FIR states that two others were injured in the incident that lasted around 4 hours. They told police that they were physically assaulted. The deceased was identified as Sagar Kumar, son of Delhi Police Head Constable, and the injured have been identified as Sonu Mahal, 35, and Amit Kumar, 27. We have registered an FIR, arrested one Prince Dalal, 24, and seized a double barrel gun from the spot, Sidhu said. According to Sidhu, police found that a quarrel had allegedly taken place between Sushil Kumar, Ajay, Prince, Sonu, Sagar, Amit, and others in the parking area of the stadium. Sushil Kumar did not respond to calls and messages from the Indian Express seeking the comment. Sagar competed in 97 kg Greco-Roman category and was a former junior national champion and a part of senior national camp. Sonu Mahal is a close associate of gangster Kala Jethadi and was earlier arrested in a robbery and a murder case, police sources said. Sushil is the only Indian athlete to win back-to-back Olympic medals in an individual sport. He has also been a world champion and he has also a world championship to his name. Although will an action be taken against him if he is found guilty is yet to be seen. Over to Rebecca for some finance news.
Thank you, Sayyid. Today's finance update. Finance Ministry releases 9,871 crore as revenue deficit grant to 17 states. The Finance Ministry on Thursday released the second monthly installment of revenue deficit grant of Rs 9,871 crore to 17 states. With the release of the second installment, a total amount of 19,742 crore has been released in the first 2 months of the current financial year as post-devolution revenue deficit grant to the states, the ministry said in a statement. The Centre provides the post-devolution revenue deficit grant to the states under Article 275 of the Constitution. The grants are released as per the recommendations of the Finance Commission in monthly installments to meet the gap in revenue accounts of the states post-devolution. The Department of Expenditure, Ministry of Finance, today released the second monthly installment of post-devolution revenue deficit grant, 9,871 crore, for the year 2021 to 22 to 17 states, the statement said. The 15th Finance Commission has recommended post-devolution release deficit grants to 17 states based on the gap between the assessment of revenue and expenditure of the state. The states recommended for post-devolution revenue deficit grant are Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttarakhand, and West Bengal. The 15th Finance Commission has recommended a total post-devolution revenue deficit grant of 1,18,452 crore to 17 states in the financial year 21 to 22. The grant is released to the states in 12 monthly installments. That's all for finance. Moving on to Aman for sports update.
Thank you, Rebecca. Now on to some sports data. Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Hosts cruise into third final. A high-tempo opening produced few chances and the tie did not take a decisive turn until midway through the first half, though Edward Mendy made a full-length save to thwart Karim Benzema, and shortly after, Chelsea took the lead when Timo Werner nodded in after Kai Havertz's clipped finish cannoned off the bar. Havertz rattled the woodwork again soon after halftime, and Mason Mount fired over as the host continued to create but spurn clear chances. Thibaut Courtois kept the Merengues alive with one-on-one save from Havertz and N'Golo Kante. However, his resistance was finally ended when substitute Christian Pulisic crossed for Mount to tap in late on. Kante covered a great deal of ground in a very close match. His transitions both from defense to attack and attack to defense were excellent, said John Peacock, UEFA technical observer, on N'Golo Kante winning the player of the match. Now on to Mansi for some health updates.
Thank you, Aman, for this sports update. So today's health update is, the good news is that vaccine work against Indian strain is actually a bad news. The good news is that the vaccine work against a new virus strain circulating in India that spread to several other countries. The bad news is it won't be the new version of pathogen to emerge from an outbreak of this scale, underscoring the urgency of mapping other possible variants that may currently racing through India's tightly packed population of 1.4 billion people. As infections surged by more than 3 lakh cases for 14 straight days, pushing India tally past 20 million. The country's limited ability to track new mutation emerging from its outbreak is a growing concern for scientists. Second or even third generation variations of the variant known as B.1.617 could already be circulating in India, with some maybe more dangerous, said William Heseltine, a former Harvard Medical School professor who now chairs think tank SS Health International. Now for an interesting piece, over to you, Ritika.
Thank you so much, Mansi, for your another update. Now time for some offbeat news. Crofton announces PUBG Mobile to return as Battlegrounds Mobile India. For PUBG Mobile fans in India, there's some good news. The game might be coming back to the market soon. Though the name will be different, Crafton, the South Korean video game developer, has announced a new game for the Indian market called Battlegrounds Mobile India. Based on the trailer, the new Battle Royale game looked a lot like the original PUBG Mobile that was very popular in the country before it was banned last year in September. In a press statement, Crofton has said that the Battlegrounds Mobile India will release with exclusive in-game events like outfits and features and will have its own esports ecosystem and tournaments and leagues. Thank you so much. Now moving on to Srishti for some entertainment news.
Thank you, Ritika. Moving on with the entertainment news. Lucky Ali invalidates death rumors, resting in peace at home. After veteran actor Nafisa Ali quashed rumors of Lucky Ali's death on Twitter, the singer took to Instagram and issued a statement. Hi everyone, just addressing the rumors. I'm alive and well and resting in peace at home. Hope you all are staying in and staying safe. May God protect us all during this devastating time. He shared in an Instagram story. The rumors started doing rounds on Tuesday. He's busy planning his music and concerts. We were talking about virtual concerts happening and all such things, Nafisa said. Now, I would like Trisha to take over.
Thank you, Srishti. Before ending the bulletin for the day, I would like to have Sayok reciting a beautiful self-written poem.
Thank you, Trisha. The title of the poem is एक महान आत्मा. मैं ठीक हूँ, सब ठीक है. वो हर बार मुझे बताता है, कोई मुसीबत है ही नहीं. सब बहला रहे हैं मुझको, वो ऐसा हर बार मुझे समझाता है. हर बार जब मायूस होने की सोचता हूँ, तो कोई महोत्सव लेकर आता है. थाल थाली दीपक और लाली न जाने क्या क्या मैंने उसके कहने पर अपनाए हैं. कुछ और तो हुआ नहीं, मैंने ऐसे भी गम बुलाए हैं. खाने को जब रोटी नहीं थी और दूर था मैं घर से, रास्ता लंबा था चलकर जाने को, तब भी जाने कैसे उसके पास तरीके थे मुझे सताने को. ये ही नहीं बेहिसाब भक्तों का भगवान है वो. यही नहीं बेहिसाब भक्तों का भगवान है वो. महफूज अपने घर में बैठा एक इंसान है वो. कई हैं उसकी हर बात मानने वाले, उसे इंसान नहीं अवतार जानने वाले. रोजाना शाम टीवी पर आकर उसकी हर अदा बखानने वाले. इंसान का तो पता नहीं है, ऐसे भी कहीं उसको पाला हुआ शेर मानने वाले. वो महान तो इतना है कई आंदोलन किए हैं उसने. वो महान तो इतना है कई आंदोलन किए हैं उसने. वो जाने कौन से देश की आजादी में भी शामिल था. अब जब आंदोलन होते हैं उसे जगाने को, तो वो सबको आंदोलन जीवी बताता है. और सब बहकाए हुए हैं ऐसा सबको समझाता है. वो सबको सब कुछ बताता अच्छा है, और उसे कद्र है हमारी ये वो जताता अच्छा है. वैसे तो उसकी बुराई करने वाले ताकत हैं उसकी, मगर उनको वो चुप करता करवाता अच्छा है. वो खुद कितना बना है अब ये तो पता नहीं. हाँ, मगर वो मुझे बनाता अच्छा है. मैं एक बाल मित्र हूँ उसका, मगर मैं उससे कभी मिला ही नहीं. वो ऐसे ही दूर से दोस्ती निभाता अच्छा है. अरे वो तो फकीर है, झोला लेकर चल पड़ेगा. ऐसी बस बात सुनाता अच्छा है, वो सबको समझाता अच्छा है. Thank you.
Thank you, Sayom. And with that, we come to the end of today's bulletin. Thanking all of our reporters who joined us and give their contribution. Keep listening to us for more news updates. We'll be back on Monday. Till then, it's Satyavani signing off. Thank you.